Seahawks Today. Tyler Jones here with you. Appreciate you joining us. Tyler Lockett, it appears, has likely played his last down in a Seahawks uniform. So, who could potentially replace him? We will explain more coming up in just a bit on today's show. Before we do, let's kind of set the scene for you here and tell you what has gone on with Tyler Lockett. He has had a fantastic career. He has been everything that embodies the spirit and the soul of the 12s. A first-team All-Pro in 2015, a two-time second-team All-Pro in 2016 and 17, a Pro Bowler in 2015. He was dynamic when they used him in special teams for a long time, as he led the league in kickoff return yards in 2015, and he was very consistent. There was a number of seasons where you could count on Tyler Lockett to get that 1,000-yard milestone, and he carried himself with such grace and class. We love Tyler Lockett, and it's unfortunate that he's likely going to be gone, but that doesn't mean that we don't love him and don't respect him and everything that he's done. But at the end of the day, folks, this is why he's going to be gone next year. The cap hit, near $31 million. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. There's no way Seattle's taking on a cap hit of $31 million, especially when you consider the Seahawks cap space, according to Spotrac, is $23.5 million over the cap for next year. Now, granted, they can adjust some things, whether it's giving some extensions or cutting some players and free up some money, but simply put, there just is not enough money to justify Tyler Lockett getting $31 million. At the end of the day, this is a business. This is not an easy decision, but it's one that has to be done for Seattle. They do have to move on from Tyler Lockett. And here's the thing. Some of you, I already know, are going to be in the comments saying, well, they could just restructure him and just get him to take a pay cut. Well, newsflash. Why should he take a pay cut? Why should he? Somebody else out there, and probably a contending team for that matter, is going to be willing to pay more money than what Seattle can afford. If Tyler Lockett wants to come back to Seattle, it's going to have to be a major discount. And for his sake, at the end of his career, when you're trying to just cash those checks, I don't see why he would be willing to take a lot less money to come back to Seattle. I just don't think it makes sense for him at this point in his career. I think he's more likely to retire than to put on the Seahawks uniform again next year. A lot of great memories of Tyler Lockett with this Seahawks team over the years. What comes to mind? What's your favorite memory of Tyler Lockett? Spam it in the chat. I want to see a lot of memories in there. I want to see at least 100+ of y'all sharing your favorite memories of Tyler Lockett. There's so many things to choose from. Weigh in and let us know. So what exactly are we looking for in a replacement for Tyler Lockett? Well, you already have DK and JSN as your number 1 and number 2 receivers. And we already know that Seattle does not have a ton of cash to spend. So with that, whether it's the free agent market or a draft pick, you are looking for somebody that isn't going to cost you a ton of money that can play the wide receiver 3 role for Seattle here. All right? Now, if you draft somebody and they turn into a number 1 or a number 2 receiver, that's great. But realistically, what you're looking for is somebody that can step in and play that number 3 receiver role. And if you look at Seattle's depth chart right now, this is your 2025 receiving room at the moment. Obviously, we're expecting some changes here pretty soon. You got DK, you got JSN. That's a fantastic 1-2 punch. But beyond that, it's not great. It will not be somebody internal. For all the Jake Bobo truthers out there, I can tell you this right now. I like Jake Bobo, don't get me wrong, but Jake Bobo is not a number 3 receiver in this league. He's barely a number 4 receiver. you are going to have to go shopping, whether it's the free agent market or the draft market, to find that replacement. So with that said, let's go over some free agents that shouldn't cost you too much. You shouldn't have to break the bank necessarily for these guys and could fill that role. Let's start with DeAndre Hopkins, the Kansas City Chiefs. DeAndre Hopkins, he still has something to offer. And he had a couple big games for Kansas City this year in a crowded receiving room with Juju Smith-Schuster and Hollywood Brown and Xavier Worthy, and you still got Travis Kelce and Noah Gray there. And I think he could help take the pressure off of DK. He's got a similar body frame and build to DK, and we see DK taking on a lot of double teams. If you have to take DeAndre Hopkins into account, then that could open up things for DK. And part of the goal for Clint Kubiak as the Seahawks' new offensive coordinator is going to be trying to find more ways to get DK involved. DeAndre Hopkins could help as far as that goes. Maybe my favorite name on this list, Tutu Atwell of the LA Rams. And I got to tell you, every time I watch the film and see this guy play, Tutu Atwell, I feel, is underrated. He jumps off the page. I think Tutu Atwell is a playmaker and could be a natural fit in this Clint Kubiak offense and could be a very good complementary piece to play alongside DK and JSN and open things up in this offense. And on top of that, you get to take him away from the LA Rams as well. I think Tutu would be a very good fit for what Seattle is looking for potentially. If you had to pick one to sign, would you rather go D-Hop or you rather go Tutu Atwell? Type D-Hop for DeAndre Hopkins. Type Tutu for Tutu Atwell. Weigh in the comments section and let us know which one you would rather sign between those two. Today's show is sponsored by Game Time. Game Time is the place to go for the best seats, the lowest prices guaranteed. Whether you're looking for tickets to sporting events, concerts, theater productions, comedy shows, and more, Game Time's got you covered. The NFL playoffs are here. The big game is coming up. I've had some great memories going to some playoff games, and you can too with Game Time, folks. You can make a life's worth of memories with the tickets you get from Game Time. And maybe you want to go to an event in the Seattle area. The Kraken, they're in action right now. They are a great event there at Climate Pledge Arena. It'll always be Key Arena to me. Whether it's the Kraken, maybe you can go watch UW, maybe it's Washington State, Gonzaga, whoever it may be. You choose the event you want to go to. They got the prices listed. You choose your seat, see if you like that seat or not. And then just like that, you're checking out with Apple Pay, Google Pay, Venmo, all major credit card providers. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals and great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets to find the best value. They have their super deals. Those are deals you don't want to pass up on. You can customize your spot. They also have their seat views as well. And with Game Time, the lowest price is guaranteed, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Your tickets are guaranteed to be delivered on time, and your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code ChatSports, $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code CHATSPRTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price is guaranteed. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. Next up, we find Keenan Allen of the Chicago Bears, formerly of the Los Angeles Chargers. And I got to say, with Keenan Allen in his career, he's been sneaky good. I feel like he has been forgotten about throughout his career. He has quietly gone about his business and has been an impact player. I think Keenan Allen would be a nice veteran presence, especially if you're losing a veteran like Tyler Lockett as far as that goes. Mike Williams of the Pittsburgh Steelers, he was traded there at the trade deadline. Prior to that was with the New York Jets. And the thing that I see with Mike Williams, there's some talent there, but whether it was in New York in a loaded receiver room with Devontae Adams and Garrett Wilson, or going to Pittsburgh and playing alongside some of those guys there, like George Pickens and company, he kind of gets lost in the shuffle at times. He could really use a fresh start. And then another name, a guy that used to be in this division, Marquise Hollywood Brown. Hollywood! Of the Kansas City Chiefs. And I got to say, I've watched every game that Hollywood's played with the Kansas City Chiefs this year. And the thing that stands out to me, his game has changed. He was always thought of as being a deep threat. And he still is, don't get me wrong. But he has more to offer than that. Marquise Brown came in for the Chiefs, and so far, granted it's been a small sample size, with Rhys out, he has kind of taken on the Rhys role of being that possession receiver, being that middle of the field, open in space guy. And I think that'd be nice for Seattle here to potentially be able to have that flexibility of a guy in Hollywood Brown that's not going to cost you a ton, that can do a multitude of things there. Who is a wideout that Seattle should sign? Who comes to mind that you would like to see the Seahawks sign? We're going to talk draft options in a moment, but we want to hear from you guys first. Give me a name in the comment section below. Seahawks Today is offering non-stop off-season coverage here on the channel as we continue to bring you our daily news and rumors. We're doing live shows every Monday and Wednesday here on the channel. We're doing breaking news, Q&A mailbags, and more, all right here on your one-stop shop for all things Seattle Seahawks. If you love the Hawks, this is the channel for you. Sub it up, youtube.com/Seahawks TV. We got you covered each and every day on the channel, sometimes 2 and 3+ videos a day. Subscribe now. You'll be glad you did. Let's go to the draft now. No one is expecting Seattle to use a first-round pick on a receiver, probably not even a second-round pick. So we got to think about day 2 and day 3 guys for this wide receiver spot. And we begin with Savion Williams out of TCU. And I love the hair, by the way. He is explosive. He is an explosive football player that can really just get the afterburners on. And I got to tell you, I'm very intrigued with what he potentially brings to the table there. How about Isaiah Bond from Texas? Now, this is interesting with Isaiah Bond. I've seen some people project as high as first round, and I've seen some people project as low as fourth round. I have no idea, to be honest with you, where Isaiah Bond is going to get picked. But what I can tell you is he was solid with Alabama, and he was really good with the University of Texas. In 2 completely different schemes, he shined. And then the speed factor. He's got some track speed. He, as Sark would say, he's all gas, no brakes. And he could potentially be an impact player in the return game as well, as far as that goes. Isaiah Bond, I think, is a very intriguing prospect. And he's not the only Longhorn on our list today that we'll get to here in just a bit. Pick one to draft. You want Savion Williams or you want Isaiah Bond? Type SW for Savion Williams. Type IB for Isaiah Bond. Weigh in and let us know. Next up, we go to the University of Stanford, and we find Alec Ayomanor. I call him Epic because he's epic. And he's so epic. He's got a large catch radius. Look, my hands can only go so far in this screen. But when I'm looking up there, he can go even higher than I can reach with that large catch radius. He's got some long arms. He's got a great vertical. I mean, this guy, he finds a way to bring them all in. And that's every quarterback's wet dream, is to have a receiver with a large catch radius. That's what he can bring to the table, and that's music to Geno Smith's ears. Next up, here's the other Longhorn for you. Matthew Golden from the University of Texas. And here's what I like about Matthew Golden. And I've got the chance to see him up close and personal. Same with Isaiah Bond. Went to a couple Texas games this year. Saw him play against OU. Saw him play against Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl. And he is what I call a separation creator. He does a really good job of getting away from defenders and getting that extra space to find ways to get open. He is a difference maker in that sense. And then the last name that we have on this list for you is Jaelon Noel, the first Noel out of Iowa State. Iowa State, they had a fun offense this year. Rocco Beck had not one, but 2 1,000-yard receivers this year, and Jaelon Noel was one of them. And he is very route savvy, high football IQ. Think about Tyler Lockett for a moment. We're talking about replacing Tyler Lockett, right? Tyler Lockett was very route savvy. Smart football player. If you're looking to replace Tyler Lockett, Jaelon Noel could be that type of guy you're looking for in that sense. So before we go, who's a player the Seahawks should draft? Give me a name that comes to mind. Chime in that comment section and let us know. Follow me on X at Tyler Jones Live. Continuing Seahawks coverage. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you next time right here on Seahawks Today.